Everyone, welcome back to the Shadow Sessions with Shannon and I.
Hey.
It has been like going through the last two topics of this shadow work has been really enlightening for me.
Very.
Enlighten? Yeah, lightning.
Yes.
But I mean, in this one, it's funny how we keep touching on for the next episode, we talk about it in the previous episode.
Yes.
I just
It
like the flow
builds.
of
It
this.
builds.
It does. I really do like the flow of this. So we're going to talk about sibling wounding.
Mm.
Like we have mother wounds, we have father wounds, but no one really talks about sibling wounds. And I am not going to take credit for this topic. It was my hairdresser, Karen Pickles, who brought this up. So I got to give it up to her.
And she's not
Yeah,
alone, right? Like
no.
this oh, yeah.
And if you were an only child, this probably episode is not for you, but you can learn.
But maybe you've got a cousin that you were close with or something
Yeah.
that there might be something that so stay tuned. Don't shy away.
Don't shy away just yet, right? And I like the title for this.
Yeah.
Same house, different childhood.
Oh my God. Speaks to me and my sister.
1000%.
Yes. Yes. Completely.
I mean, this episode is necessary because, again, I have never heard anybody talk about it personally. And I'm on social media. And I mean, have you heard anybody talk about this?
No. And we even touched on something in the last episode that people don't talk about. I mean, you hear a lot about the adult children with their parents, but you don't hear a lot about adult children with their children, you know? And so you've also got the adult children with their siblings, and those are just, people just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So we're
And
starting, we're doing it.
we're doing, because we're getting deep. Because I love shadow work. As much as
Yes.
I equate it to going to the gym. I
It
don't
is a
want to go to
muscle.
the, huh?
It feels like a muscle. I mean, it's
It is.
heavier and it works way.
Biggest thing I ever had to pick up. And I used to be a heavy weightlifter. Like, I hate going to the gym, but I love the feeling I get after I'm done. That's how shadow work feels.
Oh my God. And it's addicting. Just like going to the gym, some people say that it's so addicting. This is addicting too.
It is.
That high you feel after you've let something go. Oh, it's a rush.
And then you get it, and then everything just calibrates and balances out, and the energy starts to balance. And you're just like, I get this. I get why
Yes.
people do this every day. And I do just a little every day. Once a week, I go an hour deep with my doctor, but I do a little bit of this every day. It's not much. It's just it's just a quick check-in.
Well, and I think
So,
you pointed on something super important too when you
yeah.
mentioned your doctor, because having somebody that you can share with, I mean,
Mm.
Fran can tell you she's gotten a voice note or two from me when I've had a breakthrough, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I get it. You know, it's insane.
And it's funny because I can't see my shadow. You can. You are my mirror to understanding myself. That's why we need each other. That's why when it makes no sense. Now, mind you, I'm not saying if somebody is deliberately trying to hurt you physically, mentally, emotionally, run away, get away from them. But I'm not going to run away from you if we're friends and we just have a disagreement. I'm going to take a time out, but I'm going to figure it out.
And I think that flies perfectly into what we're going to talk about today,
Mhm.
because same house, but different. I
Different
mean,
childhoods.
it's the same thing, right? We grew up in the same house, but we grew up in two different childhoods. Same thing when you have a disagreement with a friend, because your lens is distorting the way you're seeing things.
Yeah. And they didn't grow up in the same like the house that you grew up in. It's just wild to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just wild. Okay. And I'm going to say this right up front because I know someone needs to hear it, including myself and probably Shannon.
Buckle up.
But, well, you can love your sibling and still not be ready to have a relationship with them.
Yes.
So, and what's the song that do you want to touch
Yeah.
on that or you want to touch on that
Would you
after?
like, is this now?
Yeah.
So in my last session with Fran, so Fran's my mindset coach. She's a fabulous coach if anybody's looking. I highly recommend her. But during our last session, she had asked me a question about my sister, and my parts like to bring me songs. And all of a sudden, if you know the Chicks, the formerly Dixie Chicks, that song, I'm not ready to make nice. I'm not ready to back down. I'm still mad as hell and I don't have time to go round and round and round. That's where my parts are. My parts are not ready to have a relationship with my sister yet.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take it a step further and let me know this may not resonate with you, but this is something I feel and understand is that when someone, including myself, including you, including everybody, when you're not ready to face something, it's because you're not ready to face it in yourself yet. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm not talking to my sisters, because I have two of them, but it's because I'm not ready to face what I need to face in myself to understand the situation.
Right.
And it doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means I'm not ready.
Yep.
Again, going back to the first episode, if they wanted to, they would. It's not that I don't want to. It's just I'm
Hmm.
not ready to.
Right. Yep.
Working on it.
And I would agree with that 150%. I am
Mhm.
right there. And clearly my parts feel the same way. And I don't know if it's because my parts feel like that's their job to protect me. And it is. And that's why. And they feel like they lose their job if I change my relationship with my sister. But at the end of the day, I can only operate from here. And if here isn't ready, then I love her. And if she were sitting here right now, I would attempt to have a conversation with her. But I just don't think we're not aligned. We're not aligned.
It's not and
And it's okay.
it's okay. It's not about it's not about timing. It's not about any of that. It doesn't mean that you don't love them like you just said. It's sibling relationships are probably the most complicated bonds we'll ever navigate.
Yeah.
And no one prepares us for that. No one prepares us for a lot of things. Let's be real. Especially as a woman, no one prepares you for your period, for childbirth in your case, for perimenopause, menopause. Nobody prepares us for any of this shit.
No. Nope. Here's the keys.
Right. Like, have
Go.
at it. See you later.
Good luck. Don't crash.
Right. It's so scary. Being human is so scary, and navigating all of this is scary. But like I said, no one talks about sibling
So,
wounds and like same house, different childhoods, right?
yeah.
One of the biggest misconceptions is that if two people grew up in the same house, they had the same childhood.
Yep.
It's just not
Yeah.
true.
I actually wrote a blog one day and my sister doesn't tell me about reading my blogs, but she had told my mom, "Why does Shannon play the victim in all of her blogs? Why does she feel like her childhood was so bad?" And it's so funny because at no point have I ever said that I was treated horribly or I was abused or anything like that. It was just me recognizing my trauma that I was holding on to.
Yeah.
And my blog is how I work through what I'm going through. And it was really disheartening to hear. Like I almost wanted to quit. I wrote one blog that was
Mm,
directed at her. And then I realized, but that's not in alignment with me either. That's not getting me anywhere either.
no, you're protecting yourself. That's a part.
Yep.
That is you. It's just not the you want to express at the moment.
There we go. Yes. Yeah. It's not the me that I want to be. It would I'm gonna go back to our last episode. It was a reactive movement instead of an intentional movement.
There it is.
I was reacting to her response instead of being intentional, which I want to be an intentional person.
Right. And look, you guys grew up in the same household and she is looking, but it's funny when people look at you as the victim, it's because you trigger them.
Yeah. Well, and we both had our roles to play too, right? And I think in family dynamics, that's really important. And my role was the fixer. Mom would get upset. Mom would have something going on. She'd want to feel better about it. I would fix it. I was also the good child.
Who's the older one?
Me.
You are. Are you the oldest out of all your sisters? Or all
Yep.
your siblings?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, it's funny because my dad was married before, so I have an older half sister.
Okay.
And then, so for my dad, I'm the middle child. For my mom, I'm the firstborn.
Okay.
So
So
it's a
you
weird
kind of have
dynamic.
2 different roles, right? Just from
I have,
that
yeah,
perspective.
2 different roles. And it's funny because my older sister and I will battle for that older sister role.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you got different ages, different roles, different expectations,
Yep.
and different emotional responsibilities. This is wild.
And let's throw in there that we all came into this world with different beliefs, right? We have different challenges to overcome, different obstacles. You've got, your different zodiac areas where you
Mhm.
operate from a different operating system. I mean, there's so many things that come into play, and then
Right.
you're trying to fill your role, like me being the good child, my sister being the bad child, the bad, well, I don't mean that in a bad way, but
No, I get what you mean.
he was able to get in trouble, whereas I never felt like I could because my role was to be the good child.
Right. And then we each have different roles of our parents. Where I remember recently my sister saying, dad can be really selfish. And I'm thinking, like, bitch, where the have you been? He's been selfish our whole life. Like, you're just understanding this now?
Yeah.
And then, I don't want to speak for my other sister, but I was like, where have you been? And it's just like we just have different versions of different things because of different and it's funny because I share a lot of my birth charts are so my father's a Scorpio, my mom's a Libra, my sister's a Libra. My other sister's a Sagittarius. I have I'm a Scorpio moon. I have a lot of planets in Libra in my 7th house. My father's an Aries moon. I'm an Aries rising. It's just like when you look at your birth chart, it really does look to your parents when your parents came together to have you.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me.
It's a whole nother podcast episode, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's just like and it's funny talking about that. It's like you had different versions of your parents. Your parents at 25 are not the same parents you had at 40, 50, 60, 70. They're just not. Like my father now is like chill. Like he is so chill, nothing really bothers him.
Yeah.
Like before he'd be like he's an angry Scorpio. He's unevolved. Like angry Scorpio, always thinking people are out to get him, always thinking that people are trying to get over on him. But now he's like chill. He just goes with the flow. I'm like, who are you, Frank? And it's so wild.
Yes.
So
Agreed.
going back to the roles,
Yeah.
like your role was to play the good girl, right?
Yes, I was not the one who got in trouble. It's funny, I also was my sister's caretaker.
Same.
There's, when I was a senior in high school, my friend and I, ironically enough, her name was also Shannon because it's a great name. We we had gone out for New Year's Eve, and we were seniors in high school, and we had met these guys, and we were going to this party, and my dad had told me that if I was going out, my sister had to come with me, and I was
That
like,
annoying.
yes, and she's a freshman, and we had to be home by 1 o'clock or whatever. So we go to this party, and it's in a hotel room, and my sister, the freshman, is over there drinking and smoking and having a great time, and my friend and I, we're just like, we just want to come and have a good time and go, and we're trying to leave, and she's like, "No," like, literally lounged out like this, just, "No, I'm not leaving." I can still see her in my head, and I remember thinking, "I just need to leave her. I need to leave her." And my friend was like, "No, we can't. Shannon, we can't leave her here." And I'm like, "Clearly she can take care of herself."
Right.
And it was one of those things where that was like so unfair because I was
Mhm.
so worried about getting in trouble because here I'm supposed to be setting a good example for my sister. And how can I do that when she don't even listen to me? And it sucked.
It does because I think I played a lot of different roles with my parents where I was the good one. I remember when I was doing some deep shadow work, I remember a memory of, I remember we were in the market, lane 3. I can remember all of this because you don't forget. It's all tucked away in your
Yeah.
subconscious. So when you
Oh,
tap into your
yes.
subconscious, boom. And I remember that I was standing next to my mom. My sister was in the carriage part where you put your
Yep.
kid.
Yep.
And I remember my sister wanted candy, and my mom said, "No, I can't afford that." Everything was, "I can't afford that."
Yep.
So, okay, so my sister gets out of the carriage, throws herself on the ground, starts screaming and yelling bloody murder. And I remember being mortified. Like, all I wanted to do was get the fuck out of that market.
Yep.
And here I am being the good one, not asking my, and mind you, I played different roles. I wasn't always a good kid.
Yep.
But it was just it's just wild how many roles you have to play for different and again, this is how brilliant we are to get our needs met by our parents.
Yeah.
So now, not only do you have to navigate it with your parent, you have to navigate it with your siblings.
Right. And it's sometimes it almost feels like you're competing with them too. You
Yup.
know, like, I remember always telling my dad, "Well, she's your favorite anyway. You're gonna give her what she wants, whether she's good or not." And even my kids, they've told me, "Well, so and so's your favorite, and I'm dad's favorite." And,
Mhm.
and it's not even about favorites. It's alignment, and that's something that we don't realize when we're so fixated on, well, you're not giving me what I want, so I must not be your favorite. And it's has nothing to do with that. It's how you're aligned.
Well, think about it, yeah, like, as when I was little, I was always my dad's shadow,
Mhm.
literally right up my dad's ass, and then it was my mom,
Mhm.
and it's like but my sister to this day will say I'm mom's favorite. She's my dad's favorite. Her and my older sister are my dad's favorites.
Isn't that so funny though? And it's just how you gravitate, and it's
Yeah.
has nothing to do with favorites, and sometimes I think it's more about the kids. I remember trying to distance myself from my dad a little bit because he wasn't hearing me, he wasn't seeing me, he wasn't,
Right.
any of these things,
Yeah.
whereas my sister gravitated towards my dad. And I gravitated more towards my mom because I felt more seen with her. And I felt like because I was her fixer, I felt like she looked to me
Yeah.
for more. And so I tended to gravitate towards my mom. And so I think sometimes when kids are thinking about favorites too, they kind of forget that they might
Mm.
actually be leading that charge too.
Yeah, because they again, we are brilliant as kids because it's about getting our needs met,
Right.
right? So, to me, it's like, well, my father met my needs, and then when he didn't, I went to my mom, but I still and it's just when you dive deep into this stuff, you start to realize what you needed from each parent and that you didn't get, and that's what you go out into the world and try to get from somebody else.
Somebody else. Yes.
It's
Yes.
wild. And even from my siblings, like my sister and I do not speak the same emotional language
Yeah.
at all. I don't know if you're like this with your sisters, but holy
So
cow.
were you and your sister close when you were young?
Yeah. It
Like,
was
did you
close, but go ahead.
No, did you have, like, I see some of these reels and stuff on social media these days, and these sister relationships, they look so close. My sister and I didn't have that. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
same.
ever remember, I started driving, so I'm from the Midwest, we could start driving when we were 14. And my sister right? So I'm like a freshman in high school. My sister's 3 years younger than me. She never rode to school with me. We lived on the other side of town from the high school, and, I mean, it's like a mile and a half jaunt. She found other people to get a ride to school from. Like, we were that
Interesting.
separate that we didn't even ride to school together at any point in time.
I was close to my sister, but then it would turn out to be always an argument. I remember getting into fistfights with my sister.
Oh, we had kick fights. Pull
Yeah.
hair and kick.
Yep. No fistfights.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where it just I don't even know it was about who's right.
Mhm.
Like, who's right? Or if you said something to hurt the other person on purpose, we would pick up on it and we would fight
Yeah.
each other, like, still do it.
And was it for attention? I'm just thinking out loud. Was it to get your parents' attention or was it to get the other one? What caused that?
For me, if it's not being heard or seen.
Yeah.
That's what I'm not being again, we speak 2 different languages. I'm
Right.
more emotional, I'm more, like, sensitive and emotional, can feel feelings, where
Yep.
she's a lawyer, she's very logical,
Yep.
and we speak just 2 different languages, so it was, "No, you're not," we would be saying the same thing, we just say it differently, we would fight about it.
Okay. Yeah. No, I totally get that, and I think the same thing. I wanted to be seen as well, and I think I was definitely more the emotional one,
Mm.
but my sister's also a Pisces, so she was yeah, dark, deep emotion.
That's your opposite.
I have so many Pisces in my world, it's crazy.
That's your opposite, that's why.
Yep, yep. So she was a
Virgo,
Pisces,
Pisces.
my oldest daughter's a Pisces, my dad was a Pisces, like, I got a lot of
See how your birth charts start to show you who's in your family tree? It's wild.
yep, I got a lot of Pisces and a lot of Capricorn, and then there's me, the lone Virgo over here.
I know, I was always like, my mom's birthday, my sister's birthday, my dad's birthday, all in, like, less in, like, 1 month span. And then my older sister's birthday was in December.
Yeah,
So it was October, November, December, and here I am all the way on the other side of I'm in May.
that's
No
me.
wonder why I was the black sheep,
Yes, it's all starting to make sense for us. It's all
right?
starting to make
Black
sense.
sheep people over here. Like, it's funny because, like, you would think like, I see those posts about sisters, and they're like, "My sister's my best friend." I'm like, "How, bitch? How is your sister your best friend? Make it
Right,
make sense, because I don't get it. And
right
are
there
you
with
actually
you.
lying about this? Huh?"
Yeah, yeah, I am right there with you. You know what's funny? When I think about my relationship with my sister, I think about a lot of obligation. Like, feel like a lot of times she would act out of obligation instead of doing what really resonated with
Agree
her.
with her.
You know, like there were times where when I first had my oldest, she would come to my house every weekend, but it felt like it was an obligation to come see me. And if it didn't work for me or we were getting ready to go get groceries or do whatever, it was like I felt obligated to stay home. And it always felt so forced.
So interesting, because let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
If your sister wasn't your sister, would you be friends with her?
no way.
No, not in a million years, same.
Yeah. And it sucks saying that because I
It
do love
does.
her.
Right.
I do love her. I just drawn to her in that way. Like, I don't know. But I'm also gonna say there's days where I wonder if I even know who she is.
Does she even know who she is? That's the question I ask myself a lot.
Yeah,
Like, a lot of people
it's a
just don't
very
know
good
who they
question.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still figuring it out for me, and I'm actively working on it.
There's a like I said, it's like New York City in here. It's like 8,000,000 parts, people, and they all want your attention all at the same time. The other day, I was just like this is a side note, but the other day I was sitting in and I was doing work with my doctor, and I just told her, I was like, "I can't handle what's going on inside of me right now, and it needs to move. Can we put music on so we could just dance?" And she danced with me. It was great.
So I'm gonna throw another side note in there. So there was one day when I was really starting to get into my parts and working with my inner children and all that. I remember we had a session and I came to you and I said, Fran, how many parts am I gonna have to put to bed at night? And I was like, I have to put 10 kids to bed every night just to make them feel safe. And Fran's like, I do 850. I'm like, shut up.
56 parts I've met since doing
Dude.
major again, I don't have to put them to bed every night, but, like, I check in on all of them and say, "Hey, does anybody need me? Hey, we're gonna do a,"
And I don't put them to bed every night anymore.
No, but I get it.
It was just like a, checking in. Okay, how are you? How are you? How are you? And it was so worth it. It was
Yeah, that is.
100% worth it, right? Like the safety that I feel within myself now is night and day difference. And so totally worth it. And I'm not saying not to do inner child work because it's exhausting and whatever, but it is so worth it. But it was just a funny conversation because I was like, I'm putting 10 kids to bed at night. And Fran's like, I've met 850. No.
Oh, yes, I have. It's so funny. I should, my doctor tells me because she's a doctor, so she writes, like, literally hand writes and color codes everything. She draws what I tell her. If I tell like, I have parts that look like cartoon characters from childhood, like Fraggle Rock, like Rainbow Bright, Strawberry Shortcake. She'll and she doesn't know, and she didn't grow up here. She grew up in Russia. So she'll have to really look at what they look like and be like, "Oh, okay, okay."
Yes, and when I was putting these to bed, it was way before you told me to start naming them. So thank goodness, or letting them name themselves. So thank
Yeah,
goodness
they
I
need they'll
don't know
tell
their
you their
names.
names and how old they are. It'll tell you everything. It's so funny. I was always under the impression that we're sisters. Like, we have my sister and I have ESP like no other. We're connected. We can see things and hear things, and I know exactly what she's thinking or about to do. And it's like, I understand her. Emotionally, though, we are complete strangers. Complete, complete strangers. And I'm pretty sure it's because, like, the house we grew bless you. You okay? But, like, perception versus truth. This is, like, in a household.
Yes.
This is where things get tricky
Mhm.
because siblings also always like, "That never happened." I'm like, "Yes, it did. I know it happened. I saw. I'm also 17 months older than you. I know I saw things that you didn't."
Right.
And they don't get that.
No, and I think because we've been working on ourselves and we
Uh-huh.
are more aware, we're able to understand that the lens that we saw things through might not have been accurate.
Oh,
It
that's
might have.
fair.
Yeah, right? And so we're able to say, "Okay, maybe it didn't happen exactly that way, but it was close." Whereas they're over here like, "No, no, no. That isn't even close to what happened." And they could only see it through their lens, and that's still the only lens that they can identify with.
And that's their
Because
perspective, and that's their
yeah,
truth.
yeah, and I think that's been one of the most enlightening things. There was a just side note on that, a time in my life where every time I heard something, all I heard was, "You're not good enough. You're not worthy.
Mm.
You know, you're not it." And when I started working on myself and started healing and started seeing things from different perspectives, there finally came a point where the exact same thing that was said to me a year ago was said to me again, and I heard it in a completely different manner.
See?
And it is insane when you can start to see, once you meet that part of yourself that doesn't understand, that doesn't feel safe, and you start finding that safety and building that out, how different everything looks. And I mean, I know you've told me this, but until I was ready to actually hear it, to meet it, to see it, I
Yeah.
just didn't get it.
Nope. And that I mean, it's wild when we finally see it and get it. It's just bringing up a lot in me. Hang on.
Take a minute. Take a
Let me
minute.
breathe. I might
Yeah.
need to dance. No, I'm just kidding. But
I'll sing for you.
right? But it's just there's this do you see that there's so like there's no such thing as the complete my sister, like, again, she's a lawyer. Everything has to be proven. But again, I think she fails to realize, and at times I do too, maybe other people do too, that just because you see it one way, that's your truth. That doesn't have to be mine. That's something I've learned,
Yes.
that it's her truth and I can't change that for her.
Yep.
Like when she said, "Dad can be really selfish sometimes." And I'm like, "Bitch, where the have you been? This been selfish our whole lives. You didn't notice that?" But again, it's when you're ready to see the truth
Yeah. Yep. 150%.
or a different perspective.
Yes. And it's being willing. I think that's the key word there is I've noticed that my sister tends, and I was this way as well.
Mm,
I probably still am. Um the control thing. I had to have certainty. I had to know how things were going to pan out. And it's so funny how I watch some of her behaviors now as I become more aware, and I'm like, she's trying to control the situation. She has to know what the outcome's going to be
right. And why do we do that?
because we want safety.
We want protection. We wanna know. Yeah, exactly. That's why people control, period. They want to know they don't feel safe
Yep.
because they feel they have to control a person, a situation, outcome for them to feel safe, and that is completely not 100% right.
Right.
I'm just gonna put it out there.
Right. Yeah. Agreed. And there was one time where I had a situation with our parents and stuff, and it was around my daughter's graduation, and they didn't like somebody who was on the invite list. And I was still working on myself at this time. I hadn't hit my big, like, realization moment where things just kind of started piling up afterwards. And I responded from old behavior. And I was like,
Mm,
okay, I'll remove them from the list. Like, I'll get it fixed. And when I walked away from that situation, I was like, oh, I don't feel good about this. Like, something
right,
just, I don't feel good about it.
right.
And I was telling my mom about it, and apparently she had talked to my sister. And this triangulation thing is also something I think we need to talk about. But the next thing I know, my sister's like, well, why wouldn't Shannon just handle it this way? Why wouldn't she just do this? And it's one of those things where it comes back to that learned behavior, like we talked about last episode, where I responded from what I learned I had
Right.
to do. And I'm sorry that you can't see it from that perspective, and that was really hard to hear instead of her having compassion for me or, allowing me a little bit of grace to figure out what I needed to do in that moment. And she, I feel like that's been a big part of my problem. But this triangulation thing, do you have that going on?
Not as much that my mom is not here.
Yeah. So that's been really big for me, and I think if you don't know what triangulation is, do you wanna explain it?
No, you can go ahead.
So, like, it's where conversations happen. So, like, my sister talks to my mom talks to me, I talk to my mom t it's like you've gotta hold everybody's emotions and try to fix them and make everybody feel better. And what happens with my situation is I don't really talk to my sister, and it was so funny, this was the moment that I realized it was happening. My mom was telling me this story, and I have 3 half sisters as well as my whole sister, and the main sister I've been talking about is my full sister. And my half sister had said, "Well, if this happens, maybe Shannon will like you." And I'm thinking to myself, "Why do you think I don't like my sister?" Enter triangulation.
Exactly. Yeah,
It's
and
exhausting.
it is. Well, I used to tell my mom things because I wanted my mom to see and hear me, and she was like, "I'm not getting in the middle of you 2." And that made me feel like I felt like I was unseen and unheard.
Mhm.
And the same thing, I don't bring a lot of stuff to my dad anymore because he's older. He's a man.
Right.
Like, no offense to men, but in my, uh, experience with him, he has never been one to be like, "Let's sit down and talk," or, "Maybe I'll." 'Cause I kinda wanted somebody to talk to my sister and be like, "You're being ridiculous,"
Right.
and stick up for me, but I'm just saying, you know? And then from there, not being seen or heard made me resent my parents, my sister, and I pulled myself away from a lot.
Guilty.
Yeah, and that's, like, distance, silence, like, I just won't talk to you. I don't wanna deal with it.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that's right or wrong.
Right.
That's the way I needed to handle it to protect myself. Because my sister will write me, like, books of like, wall of text like this.
Yes.
Bitch, I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time to read this. I will literally put into ChatGPT for ChatGPT to break it down for me because I ain't got time for it.
Yes.
I'm not saying but that's how, like, I don't wanna read your long ass text.
Yes.
Because now you're not being heard, and I get the cycle, and I'm very aware of it, where now she is not feeling aware like, seen or heard, and then now more resentment grows, distance, and silence.
Yep. Yeah, and so I think let's talk about that for 1 second here because the distance and the silence. A lot of times, and for me right now, I feel like I've set a boundary. So let's talk a little bit about boundaries with siblings. Can you cover that a little bit?
Yeah, so Boundaries are not, let's define what they are because a lot of
Yes.
people misuse them.
Yes.
Boundaries are to keep you safe, not control somebody else. So if you're using them to control somebody else, it's never going to work.
Yes. So,
It's to
like,
keep
as example, you take yourself out of a situation
right.
instead of asking somebody else to
Yes.
step out
Like
of it.
stop doing that.
Yep.
Like stop doing this. Don't tell people to stop. Just say, "Hey, I am not going to be here for
Participate.
this. Participate in what you're saying." Like politics. We do not talk about politics.
Yep.
We're not doing it.
Right.
And it's I don't care what you believe in. Okay? I draw a line there. And then
Right.
people just wanna just keep coming at and like, I don't wanna hear it. I will remove myself.
Yes.
I do not stop them. If they wanna talk about politics, they can talk about politics. It just ain't gonna be with me.
Yes.
So, the boundary with siblings is very, very difficult because they're your sibling. For me, a lot of guilt happens, okay? So, why I need the boundaries because I don't feel safe,
Yep.
okay? So then when you put the boundary up, a lot of people take it the wrong way. They think that you don't like them, that you don't want a relationship. It's not that. I can't deal with this right now. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yep. Yep.
So, it's hard because how do you explain to somebody, "I need space and I don't like what you're doing, but I'm not gonna sit here because there's boundary and then there's when do you know you feel safe to talk to them about it? That's where I'm at right now.
Mhm. Yep. Exactly. Like my part, right? She's not
Mhm.
ready to make nice.
Yeah. And boundaries with siblings are very hard because for me, like I said, there's a lot of guilt there. Like, I don't wanna shun my sister out. I don't wanna, but then when you do that, when you put up a protection and a boundary, then they think that that you don't like them, and then when you wanna or when you are ready to talk, they don't answer you or whatever.
Right.
It just keeps the same cycle fricking going.
Yes.
And I'm not saying like, again, there's nuance to all of this, right?
There is.
I'm not saying if a sibling abuses you, you should talk to them ever again in any way, shape, or form. Okay. If you don't feel safe, you don't feel safe. If you're not ready to make nice, then you're just not.
Yeah.
Just walk away. Not being ready for a relationship is okay.
Well, and I think there can be different types of relationships too. I think with my sister, I might not be ready to be buddy buddy and go shopping together or go hang out together or whatever. But that doesn't mean that I'm not ready to be polite and hang out at a family get together. I mean, I I will say that like last year at Christmas, I had a hard time biting my tongue. And there was a
Mm,
few moments where, I probably got some zingers in there that I maybe shouldn't have. But there's some resentment still that is lingering that I hadn't worked through yet. And like I've said before, right? I feel like I am in a completely different place today than I was
mm,
a year ago.
right.
I think having Christmas together or a family event, like we didn't have Thanksgiving. There was a lot of family drama going on, and I decided
Mhm,
just to remove myself from it because it was the healthiest thing for me. But I think there, there probably would be no issue with me sitting across the table from her at Christmas saying, "Hey, how are you? How are things going? I haven't talked to you in a while." But
yeah.
I ain't gonna be like, "What are you doing next week? Do you want to go get dinner? Do you want to go shopping? Do you want?"
No,
I'm
trust is
just not there.
earned.
Yeah.
Like building trust again is earned. And people think like, even me, I think like this too. Oh, we can just go back to, you coming down for the weekend and hanging out. It's like, no.
And I think too, they think they're entitled to it
Hmm.
because they're your family or because they're,
Yeah.
and it comes back to that obligation thing that, our parents passed down to us from our generational podcast, kind of
Yeah.
talking about that obligation stuff. And there's a bit of entitlement to that.
Let me tell you something. I have nothing in my fourth house of family, and I have nothing in Cancer. Do not come to me looking for anything related to family shit. I don't care. It's like again because my sister has everything like in her third and fourth house in her birth chart, and I'm looking at her. I'm like, no wonder why you're like because she always like, oh, you need to help me do this, and I don't need to help you do shit, bitch. I'm gonna be real. I think people think, like, when you're not ready to have a relationship with them, you're still holding a grudge, but you're actually protecting yourself. No, I was just saying, like, people think, like or siblings think, like, you're holding a grudge when you're actually just wanting to protect yourself because
Yes.
you don't know how to like, that's why I don't move forward yet. I'm not ready to understand it.
Mhm.
Even when I go in and try to work with that part of me or those parts of me, I'm like, I get too anxious because when you're inside and you're doing internal work, your body will tell you if you're ready to face it or not.
Yep.
Because me, I get super anxious and I can't, like, I'll start to get dizzy. I start to be like, I can't, like, from scale, like, my doctor would even say, from scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel? I'm like, I'm at a 20. She's like, all right, back out. Like, that's another thing, it's like, it's hard. So, a lot of the time, siblings think, like, you're holding a grudge, and you're not. You're listening to yourself that you're not ready to face this. There's something deeper going on below the surface, and this goes for everything, not just siblings, but people have things going on below the surface that you know nothing about.
Yeah. And it's
Chill.
not about them.
No.
It's not about you. Get over it. Get over yourself. Yeah, I
Right.
think that's probably the biggest thing too is they take it personally, and it's like, it's not about you.
Shannon, everybody takes everything personally. Like, everybody takes everything that's done to them, so I'm like, it has 99.9% of the time, it has nothing to do with you. 0.
Yep.
To me, I've worked with thousands of people. I've read thousands of people, and everybody thinks, like, the world revolves around them, but when it's time for the world to revolve around them and them to be the star of their show and them to do the work, you can't find them.
Yep.
Listen, I'm one of those people too, I get it. You can't find them, and this is why if you're not ready for something, be honest. Be
Yes.
honest with yourself, be honest with the person, "I'm just not ready to face this yet."
Yep.
Choose space, choose you.
Always.
Because if the relationship keeps pulling you back into old energy, old roles, old versions of yourself that you don't want to exhume, I don't know how else to put it. Like, it just ain't it.
Right.
'Cause I'm not the fixer. I'm not the scapegoat. I'm not the emotional caretaker. I'm not those things. Leave me alone. I'm not gonna fix your shit.
And I think with this topic, I think we could keep going and going for
Yeah.
hours. I think this is definitely something, we should revisit in the future because just to see, has the Dixie Chicks left my mind? Are we at a different place where we can finally move in a different way? I think as because I think this is something you and I both are actively working on. So I think this is definitely a topic we should visit again because I think there's a lot of opportunity here.
Yeah, and let go and try to work on why you feel guilty, because guilt is the number one thing that pops up for me,
Yeah.
and for a lot of people when it comes to, like, sibling relationships, is guilt and expectations.
Yeah, I think
Right?
expectations and trust is the big thing
Yeah,
for me.
like, siblings should be best friends. It's like, no, siblings
No.
don't have to be best friends. Again, everybody's just teaching you something about you.
Yeah, yeah,
Having that guilt, where does that stem from? Again, nothing in my 4th house, nothing in Cancer for me. Sorry, bye. Like,
yep,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. And to those who are siblings out there who are best friends, I love that for you.
Yeah,
I love
that's
that for
fucking
you. Don't
beautiful.
don't don't let it go and don't think that it's wrong that you are. I love seeing the relationship my kids have and the fact that they don't see each other every day anymore like they used to. And seeing them get excited to see each other is the best thing in the world. So I love that for you.
I wanna know their secret. I wanna know
Yes.
what siblings' best friend like, if you're best friends with your sibling, tell us your secret.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us how you got there. We would love to have you on the show with us
Yes,
because we want to know more, please.
you know? So, just remember, like, you're doing this for you, you're not doing this if you feel guilty, understand why. What's true for you right now? Why do you not wanna have a relationship with your sibling? Because sibling wounds are fucking real.
Speaking of, my kids are home, so if you're hearing a lot of chatter down in the kitchen, she's digging the drawers right now, not realizing how long she's being.
It's okay. At least hey, at least we're honest. If anything, this podcast is gonna be real raw and honest.
It is real.
I
So
mean, yeah, right? So, just give yourself some grace and space to evolve. Like, people grow at different speeds.
yes.
People distance doesn't always mean disconnection. It just sometimes it's for preservation, it's for safety, it's for, I don't even know. Like, for me, it's safety,
Yeah.
protection.
I would say 110%. I feel threatened. I feel yeah. Yeah, and for me, there's a lot of distrust, and I
Yep.
think that comes back to safety.
Yeah, because it's like, where and, like, really quick, the word loyalty just came to me. Like, you're not loyal to me.
Yep.
That's one thing, yeah.
Yes.
So, if this episode resonated with you, share with someone who could really use it right now, especially if they have sibling wounds. Again, give it up to Karen Pickles
Yes.
for
Karen.
that is her real name. She is a hairdresser in upstate New York. So,
And something that resonates with a lot of us.
yeah, because whoa, 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 whoa.
So if you have any ideas too, we would love to hear your ideas for things for us to talk about in future episodes.